everyone, you're welcome back to Teen Bliss, and it's still your Lady Faith ZIGA here today. I hope you had or you're having a lovely day, depending on your time. And so I'm super excited to have you back. You're welcome. So today we're going to be talking about the power of solitude. The power of solitude. Now, what is solitude? Solitude is a state of being alone. Now, solitude is a state of being alone, not being lonely. They are two different things. Being alone is different from being lonely. So we're talking about the power of being alone. And we find out, I realize that a lot of teenagers, we find ourselves in that place of being alone. And because we don't know what to do with it, or we don't understand it, we tend to interpret it to be loneliness, and sometimes try to look for things or whatever we can use to fill that void. And at the end of the day, most time we bounce back to the negative things, which turns out to be bad for us. So today we're going to be talking about the advantages of solitude and how you can maximize your solitude time, because there comes a time when you actually look for it. Like as adults, I know how many times I have to take out time, days out, to seek solitude because the noise becomes so much and you can't even hear yourself. So we're going to be talking about the power of solitude. If you've not subscribed, please hit the subscribe or like button, share with your friends so they can enjoy what you're enjoying right now. Now, why is solitude important, or maximizing solitude important for a teenager? Because as a teenager, it sort of comes to you naturally. It's not like you go and look for it. There are bound to be moments where you'll be alone as a teenager. So it's inevitable, because as a child you have attention on you, your parents, everybody's caring. But as a teenager, attention seems to be taken away from you, either put on your siblings or work. Parents tend to feel more relaxed when their children are now teenagers. So you see yourself in that time of aloneness. I don't call it loneliness because it's not loneliness. Loneliness is a product of frustrations and experiences, so it's not loneliness. You are too young to be suffering from loneliness, as I see it, if you ask me. But I call it the alone time. Now, a lot of teenagers have been pushed into depression in this time because they become so confused and they begin to feel depressed, weighed down, because they don't know what to do with the time. That's when they begin to seek answers and company from the wrong people and end up in the wrong places. So a time of solitude is for you. It's actually a gift from God. I consider it a gift from God. Sorry, my hair. I consider it a gift from God for you to use to do a lot of things that you might not be able to do as an adult. Instead of seeing your alone time as a disadvantage, take advantage of it. It's actually a tool. If there's one thing I used very well growing up as a teenager, was my alone time. I so much loved to be alone. I had friends, but not too much. Even till now, it has become a habit. I don't have too many friends around me. My circle is just very small on this one hand, and I'll still have some fingers left. But then, spiritually, I grew a lot as a teenager. A lot of things I know now, I gathered them as a teenager. My values, a lot of things. And one of the greatest way to use your solitude time is for studying. The need for studying cannot be overemphasized. Trust me. The things you read as a teenager stay with you more than the things you later read in life. You understand? The only thing is you get more understanding as you go. But studying is a vital use. In fact, that I just believe that the solitude in the life of a teenager is there to help him build him or herself. You understand? So you use the solitude time to study. Unfortunately for this generation, the phone has become a major source of distraction and a misleading compass to a lot of teenagers. So in their solitude, they bounce or rely on the informations and the entertainment they get from the phone. Many of their informations are gotten from the phone, and these information are coming from sources who probably are not sound. People of all kinds of ideologies and moralities and all giving crazy informations on the internet, and they take it in without it going through a process of scrutiny by any adult or anybody, any guardian or what. Fortunately, in our own time, you had parents, you had uncles, aunties around, teachers, that when you want to know something, you go to ask, or you read from books that have gone through processes. But these days, you have the wrong information, even the right ones, because the internet is also a blessing and a curse. You have the wrong and the right information in your hand. So most teenagers and trust nature that the first thing that appeals to anyone are always the wrong things. We are taught the right things, the bad comes to us naturally. You teach a child good, the bad, he does it. Nobody teaches a child how to lie. Nobody teaches a child. They just, if you don't correct them from it, that is the natural state of man. And so it's little wonder that when you go through the internet, the negative attracts you. So the solitude time, if not properly used, can turn your life to a direction you never intended it to go. That's why I'm making this video, to help you understand when you find yourself in a solitude moment, what to do and why that time is there. Now, it's not like it is bad for you to have friends. It's good, have friends, go out, have fun with your friends, hang out with friends, yes. But don't make your life all about it. That if you don't have a lot of friends, or you don't have the kind or the people you want as your friends and not your friends, so you become depressed and feel dejected and begin to have low self-esteem. No. As a teenager, the less friends you have, the better for you. Actually, if you don't have much friends, you're blessed. So your solitude time is an investment time. Now, what are the benefits? Why do you need solitude? Why is that time there? Because for a teenager, it just comes. You don't know the importance. It's just there. And that's why when after today you begin to understand and know, okay, this is why at this moment I am feeling this way. I'm having. Number one, creativity. Nikola Tesla said, be alone. That is the secret of inventing. Be alone. That is where ideas are born. So when you are alone, when you find yourself quiet, alone, that is the time to get creative. Get a pen, get a paper, begin to look into your imagination. You will begin to discover things about yourself you never thought you could think about. That is when to travel in your mind. Any future you cannot picture in your mind, it cannot be a reality. And as a teenager, you are free to imagine the unimaginable as long as it's good. But you cannot do that effectively if you're always in a noisy place, partying, jumping around, looking for friends to gist, talk with, find validation from. No. Value your time alone. When you have to be alone in your room, when you're not doing anything, look into yourself. You'll be amazed at the things that you begin to put down when you begin to write. Sometimes when I go back to the things I wrote in my solitude, I will be like, what was I thinking when I wrote this? It's mind-blowing. You'll be like, am I this wise? Like, did someone else write this? But you're saying you wrote them and it came from you. Or something that ordinarily, if you were in company of people, especially if you have friends who are noisy, you cannot achieve that. So it's important to have an alone time. That's when ideas are born. That's when a lot of inventions you see today were birthed in solitude. Great ideas were birthed in solitude. Some in the place of prayer, because prayer is another way of solitude, like being alone with God. Some in thinking. As a teenager, sit down and think. Constructive thinking, not thinking rubbish things. About your future, about your life. And it will amaze you the things your mind can produce. So whenever you're alone, be happy. That's why it's important for you to study. When you study, it kind of opens you up to a lot of possibilities. You read about great ideas, great things, and it boosts your imaginations more. So when you are alone, you launch deeper into your personality. You begin to discover your true identity. You begin to find your voice. That is where your confidence is actually built. So when you launch out and you're talking from a place of self-awareness. But when your solitude is used to think about, I saw this girl's dress, this shoe, this bag, and mine is not like that. When you come out, you still produce that low self-esteem, because that's what you did with your solitude. But when you use your solitude to build yourself, your spirit, your soul, you come out and you talk among your friends. Even if you're not all that high and mighty, they look at you and like, where is the confidence coming from? Because you're self-aware. So it's a time to get creative. You launch into the deep, which is in you. That's where ideas, strange ideas, begin to come out. So number 2 is self-discovery. Now, self-discovery helps you to understand who you truly are. Being alone in your thoughts reveals a lot about you that you ordinarily wouldn't know. And this discovery does not profit just you. It profits you and everyone around you. Friends, relatives, even in your relationships, when you are ready to have one. So it is important to have that time, take advantage of that time to gather wealth of knowledge about yourself. When you know enough about yourself, it helps you handle challenges when they come to you easily. Now, if you understand the things you can take when the challenges come, you know how to handle them. And that can only happen when you understand yourself very well. So the better you know yourself, the better you're able to engage your abilities and potentials in the right direction. Now, it is very important that you understand who you are to be able to relate with others, even in business. So self-discovery is very important, and that can only happen in solitude. That you go back, you think about your attitude, the way you respond to people, the way you think you should behave. All that happens in your thoughts. If you're always in company and you don't have time to take advantage of your quiet time, you will never be able to evaluate yourself properly as you should. Even when people point out the things you're doing wrong, your parents talk to you, you will not be able to see them because you have not even understood who you are. But when you have that alone time, you'll be able to know, oh, the way I talked to so person in the morning, I don't think is right. You have time to interact with yourself. That's what alone time is for. It's not for thinking about boys, and that is the problem. One of the causes of early pregnancies and in teenagers. Because once they begin to feel alone, their alone time, they begin to feel the need for company, and the next thing they start having boyfriends and relationships that get them into trouble. That is not the time to seek companionship. That is the time to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, it helps you to deal with your struggles, your fears, your obstacles. You can constructively think yourself out of situations. That's how powerful the solitude is. It is a gift, not a curse or a burden as some of you say it. No, it is a gift, but we don't know, and so we don't take advantage of it. But I'm telling you today, solitude is a time for self-discovery. And when you discover who you are, you cannot be tossed around. Even when you eventually get ready to start going into a relationship, dating and other interactions, you will be so aware and equipped and ready for it because you have understood yourself. It's not making irrational decisions, making mistakes, and then you learn from them. No. When you discover who you are as a teenager, you can be able to make quality decisions for yourself. So take advantage of solitude. And you will be surprised what you can achieve from having a little me time. That's what I call it, a little quiet time with you and your mind, and a pen and a paper. I always carry them. I think the last time I had me time was January this year. Yes, sometime in January, 3 days. I locked myself up. So it's very important. A lot of great people do it. A lot of great minds do it. It's refreshing because the noise in the world is really too much. So number 3 is productivity. According to Pablo Picasso, he said, without great solitude, no serious work is done. And I think I agree with him. Because a lot of great things you've seen or we've seen being achieved was first executed in solitude. The battles, wars are won because a person or group of persons took such solitude to think and strategize on how to win them. Great projects, great books were written in solitude. So for any serious thing to be executed, there must be a time for solitude where you have to go in and strategize and plan and think on how to execute that plan. I think most of the work is done in solitude before you come out to execute them. So before you kick off major tasks in life, solitude is required. You know, as a teenager, you take time to strategize. Okay, this is where I am now. This is where my family is. this year I'm going to do this. How do I negotiate here? How do I negotiate there? All those things are done in solitude. I told us in our previous videos, you don't live your life to chance. No. It's in solitude that you lay your cards on the table and say, this is what is available. This is what I have. These are the tools I have. How do I use them? What business do I do? Do I go to school and work? Do I do part-time? You think, you plan, and then you begin to pursue it. But if you don't use your me time, you always be that person. What are you intending to do? Say, I don't know. Let me just finish my secondary school, my high school. I will think of something else, because you've not even taken time to think about your life. The solitude is a time of productivity. It is in solitude you actually conceive what you want to become. So it is very important for you, especially as a teenager, develop the habit of solitude. Sometime in a day, take out time to think. Sometime in a week, in a month. Always value your time. I love the way children imagine things and think things, teenagers too. But sometimes when we become teenagers, we tend to wave it away and be carried away by the flashy things we see. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Use your imagination, because that is the birth of every great thing you can ever think of in this life. Those things you are admiring, those things you're seeing, you can get them. If only you will learn to develop yourself. A lot of things happen in life. You grow up and your plans change, or the things you planned to do or you imagined to do, they don't turn out. But like I told us, it is better for you to have a plan than not to have one at all. And it is in solitude that you can do that. It's in solitude you can do that. Every great idea started from the room of solitude. So it is very important that you take advantage of it. Advantage of your time alone. Whenever you find yourself alone, take advantage of it. It's not the time to run around, no. It's the time to dig deep into yourself. Instead of drifting into depression and getting yourself hurt and all, use it for your good. Use it. Get a pen, get a paper, write anything that comes to your mind. Put it down. And in the nearest future, you look at it and you wonder. When you realize that you're always happy when people are around and feel lonely when you're alone, then there's a problem. You have a problem. Because being alone is not a curse, it's not a bad thing. But loneliness is bad. And what causes loneliness is a lack of purpose, lack of goals, lack of visions. If you're about things, if you're in your mind thinking of good things, there is no way loneliness will set in. By all means, have friends, because good company helps you as a teenager also. I think I will still talk on a topic about keeping companies as a teenager, the benefits of good company. It helps you a lot. But at the same time, being alone and utilizing the time helps you also. So let there be a balance. Let there be a balance. When you're alone, be happy. When you have your friends, be happy. I am happier when I'm alone. I don't know. I've been alone for so long that I enjoy my own company a lot. I know 1,001 things I can do when I'm alone, even for fun. So learn to appreciate yourself. That is the way you can destroy depression. A lot of persons have killed themselves, commit suicide just because somebody left them. How would you do that? Somebody don't like you, or you did not get, particularly you lost a job. If you are aware of who you are, you will never think of that. So learn to appreciate your alone time. Learn to value your me time. And you will be surprised what great things will be birthed out of it. Interaction has its place, and so does solitude. But today, our teenagers do not understand. And I believe so much that with what you've heard, you will understand why you have those moments that you are alone and how to use them. Don't throw it away, because in the nearest future, you will look for those moments. As adults, especially when you're on the right track, you find yourself so busy and you want to go back into your mind, and you might not find the time. Have you wondered why some people, they start off very well, and somewhere in their career they go down? Sometimes, especially in the entertainment industry, I notice that they get carried away with the noise and they forget where their talents were battered and discovered. And except they find time for solitude, they become dry. Like writers, singers, you must always find time to be alone. So it's a very important time in a person's life. So you as teenager that you have a lot of it, my dear, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it as much as you can. And I know that you will do well. You will be so surprised at what you become. And I've noticed that a lot of the kids, or a lot of the people that are very rich today, doing well, were people who were always alone as teenagers, growing up. In schools, they're loners. They call them nerds. They are always alone. They are focused like that. They're always not in the crowd. They are always not the people shouting around. And the people who claim to be the top girls and top boys in high school, college, end up working for them. And that's it. Why? The power of solitude. That time, everybody was shouting and partying and all. They were busy building themselves, investing in themselves, doing one thing or the other to better their lives. And tomorrow, they now work for the ones that took advantage of that time. So the importance of solitude can never be overemphasized. It's very important. Instead of drifting into depression, use it for your gain, and you will never regret it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you are really impacted by it. So if you were, please share with your friends, loved ones, parents, anybody. Funny enough, the information here is for everyone, but I particularly speak to teenagers in Teen Bliss. But share it with your friends, your loved ones, relatives. You might just be saving someone's life. Someone might call you years from now and say, you see that video you made me watch changed my life. Even I've had a lot of testimonies from people teenagers I just interacted with, even before I started this project. So the good information you leave with people, you will never understand the impact until years later when they come testifying to you. So share this information with those young teenagers, those young adults. They need to hear this. Some of them do not have the opportunities some of us have. So some informations like this. So be a blessing to them. Share with them, not just to grow this channel, but also to bless someone. And you too will be blessed. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day. See you soon. Bye.